275 BS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Live from the ballpark for the first time in a long time. Hope you're having a great day. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. If you hear a little bit of wind, you hear a little bit of glove popping, you hear a little bit of bats banging, that's because I'm down here at the Missoula Paddleheads field, and their season right around the corner. And they're doing a little bit of a spring training type of workout here today, followed by a little customer appreciation party. So we decided, well, let's kill two birds with one stone. Come on down, hang out, and see the baseball team for the first time, and also have yourself a fun show out in the wild, out in the middle of the community, out right next to the river here at Ogren Park at Legions Field. If you have never been here, which I think that's crazy if you live in Missoula, you've never been down here, but if you haven't, or if you have, you probably miss it, because this is definitely one of the most picturesque venues you could find in the world of baseball. I mean, you're talking like right next to the Clark Fork River, right off the Orange Street Bridge, right in the heart of downtown. So always fun to be back, always a good nostalgic feeling when you're in the baseball stadium, no matter where you're at a baseball stadium at. Baseball season's always super fun, and we're going to dive into it a little bit more now with baseball being here in Montana. We're coming down the stretch run of the high school baseball and softball seasons, so we'll have increased coverage on that here these next couple weeks. Paddleheads start next week as well. Pioneer League across Montana and the rest of the league start next week too, so we'll have that for you. 94 games once again here on ESPN Radio. And today, Jeff Safford's going to sit with me for the second hour. We're going to have a full hour's worth of baseball talk. We're going to talk Major League Baseball. We're going to talk Paddleheads Baseball. We're going to talk Pioneer League Baseball. And we're also going to hear from the head man, the manager of the Missoula Paddleheads, Michael Schlack, will sit down and ride shotgun with us. That's coming up about 5:30. First hour, though, we're going to talk plenty of football. Yesterday, I teased Keelan White on the show, but then we ended up having crossed wires, and we had the rugby guys from the Missoula Stampede in studio. So we we'll have Keelan White on. This is an excerpt of the Deep Ball podcast hosted by Samuel Kim and Keenan Curran. But it's an interesting conversation because Keelan White, he has not, unique is the wrong word, but a pretty unusual story. He's from Canada. He played American football at the University of Montana. Then he went back to Canada. But he's having to learn the Canadian game for the first time, even though he's from Canada, because the only province in Canada that plays American rules football is British Columbia. So he played American rules football his whole high school career, which then helped him get an opportunity to play American rules football in college at Montana. And now he's back in his native country, but he's never played Canadian football, even though he is Canadian. So an interesting learning curve for him, because on one hand, he is a super valued player. Being a native Canadian, you have to have half your roster as native Canadians in the Canadian Football League. So that makes him a valuable prospect, someone that played American rules football in the United States, who then also gets to count as a native on your roster. But it's also a huge learning curve for him, because most guys that are in that sort of role, if there are guys that came from Canada and played college football in America and go back to the CFL, usually the transition for them was when they were in college, learning how to play American rules football instead of learning how to play Canadian rules football when you go back to Canada. So that's where Keelan White's at. So he gave Samuel and Keenan a lesson in just what it means to play on the huge field that is the Canadian Football League field. It's wider, it's longer. The space and speed matters even more. So certainly a challenge to pick up. There's also only 3 downs, so it's a way more fast-paced game. Not a lot of run game in the CFL because it's first down, second down, and if you don't get a first down, you're punting. So that's been an adjustment. Reading coverages is an extra defender. It's a 12-man game. So there's a lot of different nuances. So Keelan got into all that, so we'll share that with you here coming up about 4:30. And we're also going to hear from another Grizz great who's a current Grizz great. He's a senior to be at the University of Montana. One of the all-time leading rushers in the history of Grizz football already. Eli Gilman will join us to talk all things spring ball and also to promote his camps a little bit. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to hearing from Eli. We did a hit like this earlier this season right after Bobby Houck left, but a little bit more in depth now that Eli has actually played for Bobby Kennedy during a spring session. Talked a little bit about Don Dassey, the new running backs coach as well. So that's coming up for you here about 4:45. So there you go. Nuanez Now coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio, but from Ogren Park Allegiance Field here in Missoula. Grizzly Disposal, proud to present our studio. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, and the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Appreciate them for their continued support of everything we got going on here at ESPN Radio. First things first, what's playing out in front of me? Well, it's just sort of like a little bit of a scrum, like a spring training type scrum. But it's always interesting, right? Because, I mean, we know Paddlehead's a professional baseball team. These guys are pro baseball players that get paid. It's independent league. But the thing that's always most striking when you haven't seen live pro baseball in a while is just how hard the guys throw. Like, I'm just sitting up here watching the pitchers, and, you know, I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, but you sort of forget, especially like when you've been watching high school baseball or even Legion baseball. Then you get down here and everybody's throwing 92, 93, 95. So that's the first thing that sticks out. But there are a lot of buzz around the Paddleheads this year. They've been great since making the transition to the Pioneer League, since making the transition to independent league type of format. And, I mean, they've been dynamite, just winning some more, pennant after pennant. And I know this team is a team that has a lot of hype behind it. So that's exciting for us as we are back as the affiliates of the Paddleheads once again. Jeff Safford, voice of the Paddleheads, will be on the radio dial probably by the time the postseason's done over 100 times. So we're looking forward to listening into all of his calls and seeing what he has for us pretty much each and every evening here throughout the summer. And we'll get some insight into what he's seen so far here out of the Paddleheads when he joins us about 5 o'clock. Let's dive into a Prep Extra. It's probably presented by Farmers State Bank. Farmers State Bank, enriching the lives of Montanans since 1907. New basketball coaches for both Missoula Big Sky boys and girls basketball teams. Both the coaches resigned after having great years this last year. It wasn't any sort of pressure or anything like that. I think both Zach Murphy, who was the boys' head coach at Big Sky, and Travis Williams, who was the girls' head coach at Big Sky, they both just have young families. I think they both decided that they wanted to step away from the game to sort of have more time with their kids and probably coach their kids when they get to that age. So both Big Sky teams have had great success the last couple of years. Big Sky boys made a stunning and dramatic run all the way to the third-place trophy at the AA tournament. They beat Hellgate in overtime on a buzzer beater to take home that third-place trophy. So that certainly was a nice send-off for Zach Murphy. And on the girls' side, they went third place back-to-back years, and they were the Western AA champions 3 times in 4 seasons under Travis Williams. So they have a great program with a great foundation underneath it. I think both Big Sky teams actually have a chance to be pretty good next year. Certainly the girls will have to replace Avery DeCoit, who's a Lady Grizz bound senior, who's an outstanding player, one of the best players in the state of Montana. But I think Big Sky's long had a tradition of success in girls basketball, particularly when they have premier players. They've been able to do really, really well, whether you're talking about Marty Leibenguth back in the 80s or Kelly Pilcher in the late 80s, early 90s, or Jocelyn Tinkle in the late 2000s. Big Sky's had a lot of good ones come through there. So the official hire is Vanessa Walsh. She's a Helena native who played collegiately at Montana Tech. She was a highly successful volleyball and basketball player at Helena High. Walsh has spent the last 4 years in Missoula. She's been coaching the Loyola volleyball program. So she goes from volleyball to basketball, but certainly she's got credentials when it comes to both. Walsh, when she was at Helena High, she played on that great Helena High team that won 3 straight state championships. That team featured other stars like Cameron Hilborn and Jamie Pickens. So she's been a part of success. She has 3 state championships to her name during her high school days as a player. She then had a good career at Montana Tech. She volunteered with Hellgate girls basketball before taking the Loyola job. And so another young coach to step in and coach the girls basketball program there at Missoula Big Sky. On the boys' side, this seems like a coup. This seems like a pretty dang good hire. I mean, I think anybody that's be willing to coach high school sports in the current environment and ecosystem that we live in, it deserves great condemnation or great credit and great support, and they deserve, all the adoration and appreciation that we can come up with for them. But I think that the hiring of Casey McGowan as the boys basketball coach is pretty dang good. So we'll start with the here and now. McGowan, for the last 11 years, has been the head coach for basketball teams both on the Nike, these are national basketball teams, on the Nike and the Under Armour circuit. So he's coached basically like high school all-star teams sponsored by the shoe companies. He has gone to the national Final Four with his respective Nike and or Under Armour club teams multiple times. He also founded and directed Big Sky Basketball, which is a nonprofit youth organization in Seattle, and they've lived in Seattle forever. So he's been coaching at the highest level of high school hoops, basically, for quite some time, and has had an academy that's produced a ton of great players. So how is he coming to Missoula? Well, he's actually from here. He's from Alberton. Jeff Welch had his awesome book, Montana Greats A to Z, the best athletes from 241 Montana communities. Casey McGowan was named the greatest athlete ever from the city of Alberton. So McGowan, if his name sounds familiar for people of a certain age, he went to Big Sky almost 40 years ago. He was one of the great athletes to ever come out of Big Sky. He was a high school All-American in both basketball and track and field. He then went and did both sports at the University of Montana before he then settled in on basketball. He's a 4-year letterman, a 3-year starter, and he won the Naseby Reinhardt Award as the most inspirational player for Grizz Hoops. He played for both Mike Montgomery and then Stu Morrill during the late 1980s. I went to Big Sky High School. I think that's well known amongst our loyal listeners. McGowan's name is all over the walls at Big Sky High School. He was all-state in football, basketball, and track. For a moment in time, he was the high jump and the javelin record holder at Big Sky. He has a whole bunch of other top 10 track marks, and he also scored almost 2,000 points during his high school career at Big Sky. He averaged 22 points per game for his career. That's over 3 seasons at Big Sky and 1 year at Alberton. So Casey McGowan takes over as the boys basketball coach for Big Sky, and this seems like a heck of a get. So not only is he a Big Sky alum, but they moved to Missoula so his kids could go to high school at Big Sky. His younger son, Jack, was a borderline all-state player as a freshman. He made the all-tournament team at the AA tournament. He's 6'3", and he's a big-time prospect, I think. The older son, who was a sophomore this last year, Max, he's 6'8". So the two McGowan boys are certainly going to be a part of the program building there for their dad, who now becomes the head coach. Casey has been around the program. He was a volunteer coach on Murphy's staff. So he's been around the kids. He's been around the team. So I think it's a heck of a hire. I think it's a really good hire by Missoula Big Sky. And it'd be interesting to have Casey McGowan on the show because he certainly, for people of a certain age, remember him as a great high school and college athlete in and around Missoula. And now he's also coached at some of the highest levels of club basketball out in the Northwest. On the boys' side, Big Sky does return, the McGowan brothers as well as Eli Kasberg, who's a Grizz football commit. He'll play his senior year next year. Kasberg hit the buzzer beater to beat Hellgate in the AA third place game. Eagles do have to replace Cole Silberstein and Josiah Boone, who are all conference players this last year. But I do know they have some young guys coming up in the program that certainly could make some noise this next year as well. So. As the world turns, but it was a little bit stunning, I would say, that when both Murphy and Williams resigned. Once you knew the reasons, not crazy. I mean, young kids, I don't know how you'd coach if you have young kids. It's really hard, such a time commitment. But certainly the fact that both the teams had been good, I think, then people were kind of like, well, how are you going to replace these good coaches? Because these good, I mean, Big Sky's girls getting third was about where they should be. Big Sky's boys getting third was an overachievement. And that's a hell of a coaching job by Zach Murphy. If you would have told me who's going to get a higher trophy at state out of the Missoula schools, I would have said Sentinel's going to get first or second, Hellgate's going to get first, second, or third, and Big Sky's going to be lucky to survive. Maybe they win a game, but they were able to bounce back from an opening round loss and then basically run the table all the way through and beat a really good Hellgate team. So I thought it was a great coaching job and a great performance just overall by the Big Sky boys. And now we'll see if Casey McGowan can keep that going. Nuanez Now 1029 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. It's Thirsty Thursday. That means we got $25 to DraftWorks. DraftWorks Brewing, located on Toole Avenue in Missoula. They are amongst the favorite breweries in the state of Montana. They have delicious beers. They're particularly well known and famous for their IPAs, Scepterhead and Myruka, two of my favorites. And we give you a chance to win $25 from DraftWorks each and every Thursday here on Nuanez Now. All you have to do is text us and let us know what you want us to talk about. 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Let us know what you want us to talk about. 406-888-1029. And you'll get entered in to win some a $25 gift card to DraftWorks Brewery. One more piece of news, Prep Extra, probably presented by Vertical Raise. Vertical Raise, the elite online fundraising platform. Want to raise the most money for your organization? Visit verticalraise406.com. Michael Claxton, who led Bozeman Gallatin to the Class AA state championship 2 years ago, boys basketball that is. It was the first ever basketball championship for the Raptors. He is moving on to the Frontier Conference. Claxton has coached at a high level. He coached professionally overseas. He's a Carroll College alum and was a good player himself. But he takes over at the University of Providence in Great Falls. So a good challenge for him, for the Argos. Claxton had good success at Gallatin, went 77-55 over 6 seasons and won that 2024 state championship. Went to the state tournament 5 times in 6 years. So he really got the program sort of off the ground and helped them reach higher heights than maybe they have reached before. So, cool story, and be interesting to see how he does in the Frontier ranks. But we've seen this. We've seen this with Steve Keller. We've seen this with Wes Keller. They both went from the high school ranks to the Frontier, and they both did really, really well. So it can be done, certainly. But this is Claxton's first collegiate coaching job. So we'll see if he how he does. He's coached high school, and as I mentioned, he coached overseas, coached in Germany, Poland, and Slovakia. And now he's going to get a shot with the Argos. So I think this is an interesting fit and a fun fit. One storyline we needed to follow up on, the Big Sky baseball team, Missoula Big Sky, they beat Hellgate to secure the Crosstown championship last week. Then they had 2 conference games left, and they were a game and a half clear of everybody in the standings, but they still needed to win and maybe get a loss from somebody else to help secure the first ever Western AA title. So for the first couple years of high school baseball, there was no classifications. You just basically had everybody that was playing. They all played in the same state tournament. They were all playing for the same seeding, all that sort of stuff. Well, now you actually have AA, and then you have AB, which is sort of a smaller school division. So in AA, all the Eastern teams, all 8 high schools in Eastern AA are offering baseball. 5 out of the 8 in the West are offering baseball. But Big Sky beat Hellgate last week to sew up the city championship, but then they needed to win either over Glade over the weekend or over Butte on Tuesday to secure at least a share of the Western AA title. Well, they did it. They fended off Butte on Tuesday, so they have their first ever at least Western AA championship. If they were to lose to East Helena, I guess East Helena's not a conference game, so I think it's all about if somebody else can win and equal them, and then they share the title. But for now, it looks like Big Sky baseball is going to be the champions of Western AA and take one of the top seeds to the state tournament. But either way, this secures a state tournament berth outright, period, for Missoula Big Sky. So that's certainly a good accomplishment, and Big Sky has certainly been the best of the Missoula teams so far since adding baseball. By the way, the final of that game between Big Sky and Butte was 7-5 Eagles. So that helps them. They get, I said co-champions, but they get the auto berth to the first ever Class AA state tournament, which will also be held in Butte at the end of the month. They can still emerge as the number 1 seed, depending on how other conference games unfold this week. A win would have guaranteed the Bulldogs no worse than the 4 seed and a home play-in game. But for now, the top 2 seeds, other than Big Sky getting one of those top 2 seeds, are still up for grabs, and the rest of the playing games are still to be determined as well. So we'll keep you up to date with how the postseason's running down, but that's the news of the day from the baseball diamond, is that Big Sky's boys are the Western AA state champions, and that's the first time that's ever happened because this is the first time there's been a Western AA championship, and so good job by them. Well, it's now 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. PGA Championship underway in Philadelphia. It's in Newtown Square, which is right outside of Philadelphia. Not the nicest of weather. It's only 57 degrees. It's been a little bit windy. The course has been fine. There was a lot of projections that this course might be punishing. It's a par 70, but it's almost 7,400 yards. So that's a pretty good beast, but it hasn't been too easy or too hard. It's been sort of just like right there. Audric Pottinger is in a tie for first ever shooting a first round 67. Again, it's a par 70, but you had 5 different guys that shot 67 that are in right now. Keimer is one of them. Ryu Hitazun is one of them. Minwoo Lee is one of them, and Stefan Yeager is one of them. So there's 5 at -3. Some of the other big names, Xander Schauffele went 2 under today, as did Corey Connors. Justin Thomas is sitting at 2 under through 14 right now as well. Jason Day is in at 1 under. Cam Smith in at 1 under. Brooks Koepka in at 1 under. Jordan Spieth, John Rahm also in at 1 under. Shane Lowry, 2 holes to go, but he also sits under par as well. Probably the other news of the day is that Rory McIlroy did not play well. He fired a first round 74, so he is he's going to have to do some work to make the cut. I mean, he's currently tied for 111th out of 155 golfers, so that's certainly outside the cut line as of now, but certainly plenty of golf left to play. And by the way, Scotty Scheffler also, there's 5 guys that are in at 67. Scheffler is -3. Just 13 holes in, so he is maybe the one that's going to make a push to have the first day lead, and that'd be no surprise because he is the defending PGA Championship. This is being played at Aronimink Golf Club, by the way, in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Keep those texts coming in for Thirsty Thursdays. We got a $25 gift card for you to DraftWorks Brewing. All you got to do is text us and let us know what you want us to talk about. 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Keep those texts coming in. Take a break, come back, talk some football. How is a Canadian who's never played Canadian League football learning how to play Canadian rules football? Keelan White, an excerpt from the Deep Ball Podcast. That's next. Keep it right here, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the uniquely designed and well-equipped 2024 Buick Encore GX with models starting at $28,895. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to demorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Encores and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
It's easy to see why Montana is the treasure state. At the University of Montana, we look inside. We see an old truth with fresh eyes, that Montana's greatest treasure is its people. So whatever tomorrow brings, we meet it the only way we know how, with a mind for making. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Online at thewestsidetheater.com.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
A Big Sky High legend is returning as the Eagles boys basketball coach. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Casey McGowan will lead his alma mater as the Missoula Big Sky boys basketball head coach. Big Sky athletic director Jack Young told the Missoulian on Wednesday McGowan was hired after he spent this past season as a volunteer assistant coach. He takes over for Zach Murphy, who resigned as the Big Sky High head coach in March to spend more time with his family. Murphy has closed his 4-year tenure by taking the Eagles to a third-place finish at the state AA tournament. McGowan was one of the greatest athletes to ever compete at Big Sky. He was a high school All-American in basketball and track for the Eagles. He was also an All-State football player. When he graduated from Big Sky in 1984, he was the school record holder in the high jump and the javelin, while also scoring 1,943 points in hoops. That helped the Alberton native earn a spot on the Montana Grizz in both basketball and track. After 2 years, he decided to concentrate on hoops, where he was a multi-year starter and was voted the team's most inspirational player in 1988 and 1989. Over the past decade, McGowan coached basketball teams in the Nike and Under Armour circuits, taking them to national Final Four appearances. McGowan inherits a Big Sky team that includes his son Jack, a standout 6'3" freshman, and Grizzlies football commit Eli Kasberg. McGowan's older son Max is a 6'8" sophomore.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. We got cool new tech, don't we? Sitting here at the Paddlehead Stadium, Ogre Park Allegiance Field, and we brought the TV broadcast here. So if you're watching on TV or you're watching on the ESPN MT app or you're streaming on Facebook or on YouTube, appreciate you for tuning in. And pretty cool that we got these mobile cameras now so we can take the television everywhere. That's what they tell me. Everything is TV, so you gotta have video elements of all of it. I don't know. I mean, you guys seem to like watching it, so here we are. But appreciate the guys in the back for getting us all set up, and also appreciate the guys down here at the Paddlehead Stadium for helping get us all set up as well. We'll talk plenty of baseball in hour number 2. Jeff Safford will sit with me. We're going to talk about some of the most intriguing storylines right now in Major League Baseball. We'll talk about some of the most likely and unlikely division winners. Well, let's talk about how there's a new number 1 team in ESPN.com's power rankings. And hint, hint, it's not the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers have been the number 1 team for 6 weeks in a row as we get cheers that the Dodgers are no longer the number 1 team from people that are standing around listening to the show. I love it. But the Dodgers no longer number 1. We'll tell you who is number 1 in this week's rankings and who some of the main contenders are maybe to derail the Dodgers as they continue their quest to dominate baseball. But certainly I think there are maybe close to a handful of teams that could maybe push and challenge either for the National League pennant or for the World Series. So we'll get to all that. Well, let's talk about the passing of a couple guys that had a huge impact on baseball. in Ted Turner, who I thought the superstation that was TBS, bringing Braves games to people across the country, I think really broadened the reach and the interest in baseball. And then Bobby Cox, who was the longtime manager for Ted Turner's Braves, he also passed away last week. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. We'll also give you some thoughts on the Paddleheads. We'll give you some thoughts on the Pioneer League, and we'll give you some thoughts on whatever else we might get to. And then we're also going to hear from Michael Schlack, who is the manager for the Missoula Paddleheads as well. He's coming up about 5:30. One update for you from the NCAA Chapel Hill Regional. This is women's golf. Nora Seidel, who made like a 40-foot to emerge as the Big Sky champion for Montana State. She then got the bid to go to the regionals out of the Big Sky Conference, and she had a tough time. She shot a 12 over 82 on Wednesday, and that completed a three-day score of 237. So that was 27 over for Seidel. She placed 62nd out of 75 players. Certainly a really tough course. Seidel shot 79, 76, and 82 over the 3 days at the UNC Findlay Golf Course. So tough end, but a great year if you win a Big Sky title. It's about as good as you're going to do as a mid-major golfer. Extremely proud of Nora. Her attitude all week was one of stay in each shot no matter what, said Montana State head coach Brittany Basie. She obviously didn't play the way she can, and it could have beat her down, but she was smiling, and she was being a good competitor all the way until her last putt, end quote. So good job by Seidel to get there. Good regular season and an epic tournament to stamp her ticket to regionals, and that's 2 years in a row that a Montana State women's player has won the Big Sky Championship. And it used to be that you'd never see Montana State or Montana women's golfers winning conference championships. You just see them basically always going to Sac State and NAU and some of the warmer weather schools. Well, it's now 102.9 ESPN Radio. Keep those texts coming in for Thirsty Thursdays, probably presented by DraftWorks Brewing. Let us know what you want us to talk about. 406-888-1029. I'll get you entered in to win $25 to DraftWorks Brewing. Let's talk some football. I set this up earlier, but brief notes here. It's an excerpt from the Deep Ball podcast hosted by Samuel Kim and Keenan Curran, and it's an interview with former Grizz wide receiver Keelan White. Keelan is currently playing up in the Canadian Football League. He hails from British Columbia, but they don't play Canadian rules football in BC. They play American rules football. So he played American rules football as a kid and as a collegiate at Montana. So he's trying to learn the nuances of Canadian rules football, even though he's Canadian. He talked about some of those ins and outs with Sammy and Keenan.
You feel like how does that make you feel when you think about that? Like, a lot of the receivers are older guys who have been around for a long time. What does that make you feel like? Because what are you, 23, 24 right now? 25?
24, turning
25. Only in your second year. What does that make you think about what it's going to be like 10 years down the road?
Yeah, I'm excited for it, because then if you keep doing what you're doing and you can just be consistent, that's something that excites me a little bit. Yeah, right.
Would you say that's your ultimate goal? I mean, I hate to, you're happy where your feet are, right?
Yeah.
But you think of guys that have played in the CFL, and the one that I'll name is, I hate to name him because he's from the Bobcats, but is it Singleton? Alex Singleton from the Broncos that played CFL, made the jump up. Is that something that happens frequently, or is it of any interest to you?
Yeah, that happens a lot. Guys get workouts all the time in the off season and stuff, and they a lot of talent. A lot of NFL talent comes out of the CFL every year as well. Yeah, like Strevler, a bunch of guys will get opportunities to do that. And the cool thing about the CFL is they basically just put your contract on pause. They release you, but they still have to do your thing. If it doesn't work out, then you come back and the team still has your rights. So then you just sign back with the team that you're on. So that's definitely if I string a couple good years together, maybe get an opportunity there. And I just wanted, coming out of college, I just wanted to play football. Yeah, right. The best chance I had was up here. So
absolutely,
it helps that you were a top 5 draft pick. So
exactly. Top 5 draft pick or me camp invite.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So talking about, being a top draft pick, what is something that you've learned on the business side of football from this last year?
It's definitely a business for sure.
How so?
A lot of guys, like even like this year, we drafted an O lineman first overall, and then our second pick in the second round was a tight end, and then a week after the draft, our starting center retires and our starting tight end gets released. So
Dang. Do you think they told him like, hey, either you retire or like
already like going to play one more year anyways? Yeah. So then when they drafted the lineman, he was kind of like, all right, yeah. So, but yeah, it just shows that like that it can happen just like that, like in an instant. And even like from walking the locker room this year, like I don't recognize a single name on the defensive side at all. Like we have a whole new defense. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, that shit's like whole new team just like that. Yeah, like, right. Wow.
I mean, talk about the coaching change. That's a part of the business as well. Yeah, how did you deal with that?
And the coaching change, just like our offensive coordinator didn't say a word on the way out. He was just didn't say bye, didn't even have an exit interview with him. He was just gone. So wow. The GM handled all the exit interviews. So yeah, it was just like it was very quick, cutthroat, just bang, see you later. So yeah. It's more easing being on contract because like at least I know I'm here for another 2 years or a year and then this year after. But yeah, it's definitely scary sometimes for sure seeing that.
Are the contracts in the CFL guaranteed?
Yeah.
So no matter what, you're going to get that money?
Yeah, I'm going to get that. That's good. Money. If I make the roster.
Yeah, right. If you're on the roster. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm on the roster,
yeah.
So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
How will you approach training camp differently this year?
Exact same as I approached it last year. Okay. As a rookie. Yeah, for me.
Minus the nerves.
Minus the nerves, I'm a rookie. So, yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good mentality to have.
Well, now going into the second year, obviously things will change, right? You talked about your position change, new offensive coordinator or new head coach, which offensive coordinator. Do you feel like you're in a good spot with the chemistry that you have with your quarterback, even though you didn't get to work out with them this offseason?
Yeah, definitely. I got a message, or I kind of got a little inkling of how he feels about me. He told my agent that like I'm one of the best rookies he's worked with.
Hey, high praise.
Yeah, so that was pretty high praise coming from him. So I kind of like, I know that he respects me and knows that I'll do like the best I can. I'll be there. So yeah, I feel he'll trust me pretty good going into this year.
For sure.
Yeah.
One question I got for you, obviously you're early in your career, but how important is it for you to leave a legacy, and what would that look like for you?
In the league?
Yeah.
I would say a legacy, a big thing is the Canadian talent up here.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of, or you are seeing it more recently now, but like Canadian skill players are rarer in the CFL because they tend to with the ratio and stuff, they put the Canadians more like on the O-line and on the defense rather than the skill players. Mm-hmm. So definitely like a legacy of like being like one of the top Canadian receivers is definitely on my mind for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely a goal eventually. So yeah.
Who are some names that come to mind when you think of some of the top Canadian receivers of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Got
the type of names that you want to be up there with.
Yeah. Right now I'm following like the Phil Potts are killing it right now.
One's at Montreal, right?
One's in Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got like mostly guys that are still playing that are just killing it. Mm-hmm. So you got Phil Potts, you got KJG, Keon Julian Grant in Edmonton. You got Brad Sinopoli that played in Ottawa for a little bit. Like just there's like a lot of good Canadian talent that's been in this league that would be cool to be a part of.
You're right.
Sure. Yeah.
Dope.
You're listening to an excerpt from the Deep Ball Podcast, co-hosted by Samuel Akem and Keaton Kern, a couple of former All-Big Sky Montana wide receivers. Their guest this week, another former All-Big Sky Montana receiver, Keelan White. He is now entering his second year in the Canadian Football League after being a first-round draft pick in the CFL. More of this conversation with Keelan White right now.
Yeah, just, I don't know. Yeah. Like, that kind of goes back to the question of, like, man, sometimes there's probably benefit to not even thinking, oh, I want to try to make it to the NFL, because it's like, man, I could just cement a legacy and, like, really be forever a legend here in my home country. And, like, yeah, it's NFL great, but to have little or young Canadians and say, like, yeah, I want to be like him. Like, I want to be like him. I want to go play in the CFL just like Keelan White did.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool for sure. And even like going to the NFL, like being Canadians got a lot of pride in that way of like being together. And, you know, when one makes it, we all make it kind of thing. So we all follow each other. We all kind of like have that Canadian brotherhood mentality of like, of seeing those guys and looking up to those guys who make it to the biggest stage and even that. So, yeah. Like, yeah. So.
What is that? So, and again, I'm super CFL, but say you get, okay, you have a phenomenal year this year. You have a phenomenal year next year. And my only experience is like when he was playing, I can't even remember what team he was playing for, and I think he's still playing. Vernon Adams was playing.
Yeah, he's in Calgary right now.
Yeah, I used to work with him and train him, and he had gotten a decent sized contract one year. But like, how does that work? What you can make some good money up there in your later years once you've established yourself, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. After that rookie contract and into your later years, you can definitely start to make some decent. It's not NFL money, but it's like it's pretty decent. Yeah, it's a decent paycheck for living in Canada for sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, quarterbacks get paid really high, and some of the highest paid receivers are still making like good money. So yeah, it's pretty good.
What fuels you?
When people aren't watching, to be honest, people watching don't fuel me. I push myself. I battle against myself. I'm never satisfied with I'm always looking to do better, and you know, there's always something I can do better with going forward. So I drive myself for sure.
Wow. One I got about the CFL and about defenses is, what's something about CFL defenses you understand now that you didn't before your rookie season? Like, what's something that going into camp and going into the season you'll be more aware of?
Where are the free safeties at?
Yeah. Okay, so explain that for people who may not know.
To save my life. So basically it's 12 on 12. So you can have basically 3 safeties and still have like cover 4 and cover 2 at the same time. Basically. So it's cover 4.
Like 2
cover 4 is 4 deep.
3 double cloud the whole time.
It's 3 double cloud. It's 3 the whole time. So like you can have cover 4 is 4 deep, 3 under in the American game. This is 4 deep, 4 under.
Dang.
With still a 4-man rush. So you still have a 4-man rush. And you got 4 deep, 4 under. So yeah, and like the free safety can be easy, but the free safety will always kind of tell you what the coverage is, because off of the free safety they'll play a box to the field and a triangle to the boundary sometimes. So just finding the box triangle, then pinpointing the free safety, it can really tell you a lot about the coverage.
Yeah, right.
But last year I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just like we got all these routes. You gotta know who you're running it off of. Like I don't know what coverage they're in. I'm just running to like I think is space.
Whoever looks at you, like, okay, I'm running on you.
Like whatever I think makes sense. Like there's a guy like always. So I'm like, I don't know. So you're always trying to like attack the area between the under coverage and the safeties. Yeah. So you're basically like half the time, what I was doing a lot last year, I was running cancels. So you basically just run, you got your waggle, so you start 10 yards back, and then you run 50 yards at one of the safeties to push them back so that another receiver can come underneath and catch the ball.
You were a decoy. You were running for the love of the game, as Coach Pete said.
Pretty much, literally, yes. So like half the time you're running cancels. Like I was running, we had the catapults on, I was running 6,000 yards of practice.
What's that, like 60 or 600 football fields? My math is way off. I think that's 600 football fields.
600 football fields.
You said 60.
Yes.
Sam?
No, it's 60.
Come on, add the zero. Add the zero.
Hey, I said I wasn't sure. I said
600 football fields.
Yeah, me messed up. I was like, yeah, 600 sounds right. I was running a lot.
600 is a lot.
Anyway, dang, that's crazy, bro. 6,000 yards, that's crazy.
You're listening to an excerpt from the Deep Ball Podcast, co-hosted by Samuel Akem and Keaton Kern, a couple of former All-Big Sky Montana wide receivers. Their guest this week, another former All-Big Sky Montana receiver, Keelan White. He is now entering his second year in the Canadian Football League after being a first-round draft pick in the CFL. More of this conversation with Keelan White right now.
I was running a lot just because you're canceling half the time, but like these got other guys and stuff like that. So learning defense was tough for sure.
Also, are they playing deeper? Like the coverage, like, are they, like what, 20, 25 yards back or something?
Wait, corners are standing at like 14.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Why don't you just throw like a quick hit? Oh, because they got
if you're standing at the field's 65 yards wide, so if you're standing at the numbers, that's a 50-yard, 45-yard throw.
He's gonna close on it anyway. And
yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
So you're on the left hash, you try to throw a hitch to the field with the corner 14 yards off. That's getting a throw.
Yeah.
6 eligible like skill players.
Yeah, you got 5 receivers and a running back. Yeah.
Wow. So in that scenario where they're doing 4 deep, 4 underneath, are they like daring you to run it?
Yeah, but you only have 3 downs, so you're not gonna run it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Gosh, freaking CFL, man.
Unless you're getting 6 to 8 yards on that run, you're not gonna run the ball.
How many times would you say you guys run it during a game? Like how many times would you guys say?
Shit. So we'd have 60, 70 plays a game.
Is it still like 3 to get 10?
Yeah, to get 10. So it's 2 and out instead of 3 and out.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's 2 incompletions and you're punting.
The Canadians have made an exciting brand of football.
Oh, yeah.
So special teams. Yeah, so special teams and the return game is also huge.
Do you play ST?
No, I don't. I was gonna, and then the starter went down, so I had to start. So they pulled me off specials because they didn't want me getting hurt as well. So
what would you were going to be a returner?
I was going to do a little returning, and I was going to play a little gunner on punt as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gunner.
So, but yeah, special teams is huge. That's where they put most of their Canadians is like on special teams.
Interesting insight from Keelan White, former Grizz football player who's now playing up in Canada, entering his second professional season in the CFL. Appreciate Samuel Kim and Keenan Curran for conducting that interview and letting us share a little part of it. You can find the Deep Ball Podcast on all your various podcast hosting platforms. And those guys have got a good job of rounding up some of the guys that are former Big Sky players with Montana ties who are now playing in the pros. So they've done fun interviews with guys like Lance McCutcheon and Willie Patterson from Montana State. They've done some fun hits with guys like Keelan White and Junior Bergen from Montana. And we're going to start playing excerpts of those on the show. And you can always just find those podcasts as archived on the Deep Ball Podcast feed. So appreciate the collaboration. Those guys have done a good job of sort of diving into the media world. Well, it's now live from Allegiance Field, Ogren Park, here in the heart of the Garden City. We're going to talk one little more bit about football, and then we'll talk baseball for the whole second hour. But first, we'll check in with Eli Gilman. What does the All-American running back for the Grizz think about how spring ball went down with the new coaching staff at the helm for Montana? And also, if you'd like to participate in Eli's youth football camps coming up next month, how do you do it? We'll let you know how to sign up, and Eli will let you know what maybe you can expect if you sign up for his football camps. That's next. Eli Gilman on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John?
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
Site or ask your county treasurer.
Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio. Listen to Nuanez Now. Live from Allegiance Field, Ogren Park, Missoula Paddleheads season right around the corner. We're proud to be affiliates of the Paddleheads once again. So we'll have all 94 regular season games. And almost certainly, with the way they've been playing the last 4 or 5 summers, you're going to have some postseason games too. So Jeff Savard's going to be a busy man. He's going to have about 100 games on his docket if things go according to plan here. But we're looking forward to carrying the Paddleheads. Once again, there's a ton of buzz around this team. And Jeff will let us know a little bit more about what he's seen so far during spring training here on the other side. But first, we check in one of the best players in all the football championship subdivision, All-American running back Eli Gilman from the University of Montana.
Big Sky Breakdown, SkylineSportsMT.com. Checking in with Grizz running back Eli Gilman. He's got some stuff coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And I also wanted to just recap the spring ball after a coaching change and a fun deal to watch the spring games. I thought a lot of guys showed out. So, Eli, thanks for being here, man. How's it going?
Of course. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, man. Thanks so much for asking. First of all, start with spring. I know not a ton of action for you during the actual spring game, but it was fun watching everybody. So what'd you think of just the overall spring session for you guys? What sort of things did you improve on with a new head coach at the helm?
I mean, I think, we honestly just came together, at a rapid pace. I think when we were first starting to practice spring, we were kind of, all over the place. And it was crazy to see how fast all of us new guys and all of us transfers and, new coaches mended together, that well through the spring. So, honestly, I thought it was just sweet to see how fast our team can come together, especially with how new everything was to everybody. So.
Well, a new running backs coach for you. So what do you think of Dom Dasty, and how's that transition gone? Because obviously Justin Green's been around for a long time. I know you guys were close. Right. But Coach Dasty's been around from back in the day, back when I was in school. So what have you thought of just the way it's gone with the running backs under Coach Dasty?
No, I think it's sweet. I think he's doing a great job so far, too. And, yeah, we were blessed with Coach Green for my whole career here. But I know we have Coach Dasty, and I think he's doing a great job. I think the running back room is going to be special. Like I feel like it's been like for the last, I don't know, however many years. But I think he's going to continue that same Montana running back trend. And yeah, he's going to help us get to where we need to go for sure. So.
Well, one guy that really popped during the spring game was Finn Ridgway. I know you guys are good buddies, but I thought he looked great. And he was like an emergency running back at first. And then you're watching, we're like, well, this guy's a running back. I mean, this guy looks great playing running back. So what did you think of just how well he picked it up?
Yeah, I thought that was sweet. Yeah, they literally, like you said, like kind of like emergency running back, just kind of threw him over there, like halfway through spring ball, and he's kind of like an offensive guy. Like he seems to have an offensive mindset. So I think offense came to him like way easier than it would to like a lot of people who are switching from other sides of the ball. But yeah, obviously you see like his athletic ability and how well he's able to run the ball, and I think he's going to help us a lot this season. So that's a great asset to our room for sure.
Yeah, and how about Hashim Jones? I thought he was one of the stars of the spring game. So what'd you like what you saw out of him?
It's kind of like I like the maturity stage he's going through. Like he's getting really good, really fast, and it's honestly like sweet to see. Yeah, like that guy can really do it all if he puts his mind to it, and you can see like how well and like glimpses of his potential. And I'm just excited for him to show kind of like what he can do in front of everybody, really. But like, yeah, he's got it for sure. So that'd be sweet.
Yeah, he's definitely got it. And when you're a young guy like that, what's the thing that needs to happen for it to click for you? Like, is there like a moment where it gets easier for you? Do you remember like going through sort of a moment like that?
I don't know if easier is the right word. I'd say you get more confident with just experience playing. But yeah, like once you kind of gain that confidence, you kind of just go out and do your own thing because everybody kind of runs different. But yeah, I wouldn't say easier, just like more confident, and the game just kind of comes naturally to you the more you play it. So,
yeah. Well, offensive line is obviously a huge storyline for the Grizz this year with a new offensive line coach and 6 seniors last year, so a whole bunch of guys that are going to have elevated roles. But I thought they looked really good. What did you think of just what you saw throughout spring, more than just the spring game?
Yeah, like you said, it's like a new coach, and I know at the start they were trying to figure out different like lingo and different type of stuff like that. But no, like even like the line, especially the line and the running backs and kind of like the offense as a whole, like they all improved so rapidly throughout the spring. Like I'm like just excited to see us continue to work because like if we can improve that much throughout the spring, like it's going to be dangerous for everybody else really when we practice more this summer and practice more into the fall. So
was it a big difference without Coach Alk around, or was it sort of similar to how you guys have operated over the last however many years?
I'd say like the Montana football standard hasn't changed at all. Obviously there's different coaching styles between really all head coaches, but like as far as like Montana football, like it's still Montana football. It's still hard nosed, tough. I mean, that's just how we work, which a lot of people know. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say like the Montana football aspect hasn't changed at all. No.
Well, it seems like even if some of the coaches are new, I just talked to Brett Myers, right? He fully understands like the brand of football that Montana plays and the expectations at Montana and all that. Even though he's new to the staff, like he's played against the Grizz all these years, so he sort of understands it. It seems like all the coaches are sort of like that.
Yeah, no, everyone's picking it up. Even like new coaches pick it up, new transfers pick it up, and I think Coach BK is doing a great job of like making sure that's like still Montana football. Like new head coach, new everything, but like he's making sure everybody knows it's still Montana. Like we're not changing because we got a new coach. Like we're still gonna play Montana football. It's just different coaching styles. So.
Well, here we are now, and a little bit more than a month away from your series of summer football camps. So, EliGilman.com is now live. If you want to sign up, please do. And we're encouraging people to sign up ahead of time because then everybody can sort of know what's going on, the registration, all that sort of stuff. But also, there's going to be opportunities for kids and everybody else to sort of hang out with you and see you and stuff too, right? So, just tell us about that part. And it seems like you guys are trying to welcome people ahead of time, so even before the camps start at 1 p.m., they can come see you and hang out with you and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Like I love seeing the kids like after the game, and I think it's just kind of like another opportunity for me and some of my teammates to get out in public and kind of give back to what they do for us. Because it's really really kind of easy to play for like kids like that want to see you, and it's easy to play for fans that want to support you. And I think it's like sweet how excited they get when they see us and how excited we get when we see them. And I just kind of think. Like when I was a young kid, I loved seeing football players, and I just want to kind of do the same thing for them. So, yeah, giving them more opportunity to hang out with us, I think is sweet. So,
when it comes to the actual camps, like what do you think kids can get out of this, just in terms of coming and developing and learning some skills?
Yeah, honestly, I think they can learn a lot about skills, and I think they can learn a lot about themselves and how important it is to be around people like-minded. And I think it's gonna be like a super fun experience for them, and they can like really kind of express and grow themselves along with a bunch of other little kids around them. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a sweet experience for them, and I'm excited to do it. So.
Well, if you have a kid that's interested, EliGilman.com, you can go get signed up ahead of time. There's also some merch for sale on there as well, and a whole bunch of ways you can support Eli and his teammates and Grizz football in general. But good catching up, man, and we'll see you down the road. But thanks so much for doing this.
Sweet. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
The Big Sky Conference Offensive Player of the Year is returning to the Grizz with his eyes set on rewriting the record books at Montana. Eli Gilman is proud to spend one more year at the University of Montana, and the All-American and former Jerry Rice Award winner is already one of the all-time leading rushers in Grizz history. He will return for his much-anticipated senior season with the rewriting of the record books on his mind. In an effort to give back to the community that's done so much for him, Eli will host a series of youth football camps during the month of June. Improve your skills and work on everything from hands to eyes to speed, and learn from qualified coaches, including current Grizz football players. Gilman will host camps on June 10th at Great Falls Memorial Stadium, in Missoula at Big Sky High School on June 17th, featuring Junior Bergen, in Polson on June 20th, and in Florence on June 27th. Registration begins day of it for each camp, or you can sign up in advance at EliGilman.com. All kids ages 8 through 14, beginner to advanced, please come enjoy the Eli Gilman football skills camps all throughout the month of June. For all things Eli Gilman, check out EliGilman.com.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the exceptionally designed 2024 Buick Envision with models starting at $39,795. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to DeMorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Envisions and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check at Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires.
If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
Life's about the journey, not the destination, right? Why can't it be about both?
Brought to you by Montana Veteran Affairs Division and this station.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Yo, what's up, Montana? Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio, but from the Missoula Paddlehead Stadium. A little spring training / season ticket holder appreciation night here at Allegiance Field at Ogren Park. And that means baseball season is here, officially in the state of Montana at the professional level. High school baseball is rolling right now. We'll have plenty of coverage for that as the state tournament is right around the corner. I guess state tournaments now, 2 state tournaments now in the state of Montana for high school baseball. And then also softball coming down the pipe here. But the Missoula Paddleheads, the rest of the Pioneer League, get started here in short order. And, of course, Major League Baseball in full force here as well. About a little bit short of a third through the season right now for Major League Baseball as well. So plenty of baseball coming your way here on these radio airwaves, as well as just in general as baseball takes center stage here on the local and the national level. If you missed anything in the show, you can always find it on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. Please rate, review, subscribe. A couple fun guests for you. Keelan White, from former Montana Grizzly, who's now playing the CFL, as well as Eli Gilman, who's a current Montana Grizzly and an All-American, who's hoping to play in the NFL. But first, he wants to take care of business for his final season with the Grizz. Heard for both those guys. Also talked about Big Sky High School's new basketball coaches. Casey McGowan. On the boys' side, he is a former McDonald's All-American in high school basketball in the early 1980s at Big Sky. He set a whole bunch of records there for the Eagles, and now here he is about 40 years later, back to coach his alma mater. And then on the girls' side, Vanessa Welch takes over. She inherits a program that's been to the state tournament 4 years in a row and taken third 3 out of the last 4 years as well. So Big Sky girls hoping to continue their great success. All that on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. And we appreciate you for subscribing. Coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. The man in red, Jeff Safford, sitting next to me now. What's up, buddy? This is like your happy place, right? Here we are, sitting in the perch, the Jeff Safford's nest here at Ogren Park.
Yeah, man. I think it's been quite a number of years since you and I have been up here.
It is, right? I know it actually has been, because we've done some shows from down here, but sometimes Jeff's been here, sometimes not, and it's been a little while since we've actually been right here in this spot together. So good having you on, man.
And I know for sure that there was one game that you and I called together.
Yeah.
It was you were on the color, and I was on the play-by-play doing our thing, and let's just say the weather wasn't exactly the greatest.
No, it was not. The weather's still trying to figure out what it's going to do today, but it looks like it is clearing up. It could be a nice evening here. So it's a fun deal that's coming down the pipe for these guys. So we're going to get back to the Paddleheads quite a bit here in the rest of the second hour. Michael Schlatt coming on, the manager for the Paddleheads. He'll join us live here about 5:30. But I want to talk Major League Baseball for a minute.
Sure.
What do you think right now is the most intriguing or interesting story that's going on right now in Major League Baseball?
I think a lot of it has been around some of the teams that have either overperformed in Major League Baseball. The Atlanta Braves, I know you're going to allude to their success thinking about the power rankings, but I don't think anyone, including me, expected them to be just rolling the way they've been. The Chicago Cubs, another team that expected to be a contender there in that Central Division, they were on fire this month. I mean, I think it was 15 straight wins at home at Wrigley Field. I mean, that's incredible. So those have been definitely some positives, and really just the good, the bad, and the ugly from some areas. I mean, we've seen some great performances from teams we expected. New York Yankees, they've been awesome to this point. Expected them to be a contender in the AL East. the LA Dodgers. They've been a little bit up and down the last 10, but still I don't think there's anything to be worried about there with the two-time defending champs. Then the bad, some teams like the Red Sox and the Phillies kind of floundering in this part of the season.
Are you surprised by that? I mean, Philadelphia has already fired its manager. Wait,
right.
It's only May 14th. So, I mean, is that too quick of a trigger? Or, I mean, does it deserve? Because, I mean, they have really been – I thought they were going to win that division, and they're in last place.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Thompson definitely had taken the team to a number of playoff runs, but clearly some things were going on in that clubhouse that were warning signs, so to speak, and I think it ended up working out in favor of Philadelphia when you think about a very experienced manager priorly in Don Mattingly just being able to step right in, and Philadelphia has actually been playing a little bit better. They're getting closer to 500 at 20-23, but the Red Sox, they also fired Alex Cora. That's been kind of a disaster, and then the ugly, if you want to think about what's happened in New York and the other side of the Bronx, thinking about Queens. I mean, it has just been...
What the losing streak get up to? Was it 12, 13?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't win for like 3 weeks at one point during the year.
And just seeing that, I happen to be... My sister lives in New York, in Chelsea, right downtown by Manhattan. So actually in April was in New York for a weekend, and just seeing the local media around the Mets.
Oh, man.
And it was just like the sky was falling, everything was burning to the ground, so to speak. And, and the pressure of that media and just seeing how much money involved with that roster and them just losing all these games and it just piling up. And it was just wild to kind of see all that.
Well, a couple of thoughts on the Atlanta Braves, because they have certainly taken center stage for multiple different reasons over the last couple of weeks. The ESPN.com power rankings have had the Dodgers as the number one team in baseball for all 6 weeks of the regular season. Now here we are in week 7. There's a new team, number one, and it is Atlanta. Atlanta has the best record in baseball. They are clear of the Dodgers by a couple games. Dodgers, Cubs are both sort of right there as well. But Atlanta, I think the first 30-win team in the majors. And so on the field, the resurgence of the Braves has certainly been a big storyline right now in Major League Baseball, but also off the field. A couple guys that had a huge impact on the game and a couple guys that were sort of synonymous with the franchise. First, longtime owner Ted Turner, who sort of revolutionized sports broadcasting. I mean, by forming a superstation. And I mean, I'll tell you this, growing up in Montana, there was not a lot of places you could, I mean, we only had like 12 channels on the normal cable, right? But one of them was TBS, the superstation. So what was on every day?
Atlanta
Braves, baby.
Yep.
So I mean, my wife, her grandma, her sisters, they're all big Braves fans because that's the baseball that you got to watch, right? Bobby Houck, former head coach of the Grizz, he's a big Braves fan. So there's a lot of Braves fans in these parts because that was just the games that you could watch. And Ted Turner deserves a ton of credit for doing that and for building, one of the most proud franchises in baseball. And then, of course, the Mr. Volcano himself, Bobby Cox, passed away at the age of 84 last week as well. Cox known for all sorts of things, not the least of which 5 National League pennants and a World Series ring, but he's also known for being the all-time leader in ejections. Well, Bobby Cox got his money's worth anytime he was mad at the umpires. So certainly there's been a lot of on-the-field and off-the-field news for the Braves. But talking about on-the-field, I mean, what do you think that has helped them sort of have this resurgence? Because they were like one of the premier young teams in baseball, and that sort of fell apart on them last year. But now here they are, they're sort of back at it.
Well, I think a lot of it was really the last few years. You look at the Braves, it hasn't been a problem with their personnel. It's just been a lot of these injuries that's popped up for them. So, I mean, Ronald Acuna Jr. has been injured in recent years.
Yep.
His numbers are a little bit down from where they've been in recent seasons, around 260 average-wise to this point. But he's back in there, and we've seen some players that put together huge runs and other seasons. The former Oakland A guy I've always followed throughout the course of his career, Atlanta, Georgia native actually, though, and Matt Olson.
Yep.
He's one of my favorite guys to watch just because, I mean, myself, a guy covering the Missoula Paddleheads, if you know anything about the Paddleheads in the last couple of years, they know a thing or two about the long ball.
Yeah, the chicks dig the long ball, and so do the Paddleheads.
And Matt Olson, he doesn't hit little home runs.
Oh, dude.
He hits bombs. He hits big boy home runs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so he's fun to watch. And Drake Baldwin, catcher, he's been outstanding for them. towards the middle portion of the order, and just that's what I think the biggest thing with this Braves team has been, is that there's just nowhere to hide. I mean, they have all these guys at 280, 290 with extra base hits up the kazoo, 10-15 bombs or 10-15 doubles, all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, that's awesome, and Spencer Strider's been throwing well for him as well, so fun team to follow, and we'll see if they can keep it going. With how teams have been floundering in that division, I don't see why not.
Yeah, but they got to just keep those guys healthy. Jeff Safford chiming in here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. Last live Major League Baseball game I went to was in your home stomping grounds in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, Oracle Park.
We went and watched Braves, Giants. My wife's a big Braves fan. We watched Spencer Strider on the bump. He went 8 full, gave up 2 hits, and struck out 12. So that was a pure pleasure to watch because, I mean, he's just nasty when he's got his stuff going. And he doesn't even throw that much junk. He literally just throws fastball slider, and you just can't hit it. But also I saw Matt Olson hit – the Braves won the game 8-1, and I saw Matt Olson hit a home run that must have been 440 feet plus. Dead center, right next to the big scoreboard that's out there on the power alley, and he's a Titan. You're right. He hits monster shots when he gets it going. But I think it's good, though. Don't you think it's good for baseball to have a young team like the Braves that have actually been able to keep some of their core guys together to sort of be having this resurgence? Because if they could sort of get back to being an elite team, I think that'd be awesome for the National League, and it's awesome for the baseball landscape.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you see a team with some new young players come up, that's always awesome to see. And this kind of idea comes up a lot when you think about sports, when you think about a specific brand being good, that it's good for baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, the Braves are a brand that you're used to seeing be in the playoff run. I mean, Bobby Cox in those division races. I mean, how many divisions in a row?
Oh, they won the division the entire 1990s, I believe.
And
that
into
they
the 2000s as well, with players like Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones, John Smoltz.
I think they won
Tom
the
Glavine.
I think they won the division every year from when they won the pennant in 91 all the way until 2002. I think they won 11 or 12 straight division titles. So, yeah, you're right. They dominated the National League East for sure. Jeff Safford joining us here on 102.9 ESPN Radio. Nuanez Now coming to you live from the Missoula Paddleheads Stadium. Okay, so Brooks and I were talking about this last week. Brooks Nuanez, who contributes on the show weekly here. We were saying, who's the greatest athlete on planet Earth right now? Because this answer used to be easier to answer, right? Because like in the 60s or the 70s, you'd probably say Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier, whoever's the heavyweight champion of the world, right? And then, in the 80s and 90s, it was Michael Jordan versus everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Early 2000s, Tiger Woods. And then Michael Phelps probably had his moment in the sun. And, LeBron James had a moment there, too. But it's way less spread out, or way more spread out, I should say now. I mean, you can name guys from every sport that are great athletes. But we were saying that if we're actually being fair here, it might just be Shohei Ohtani. What do you think? Is he the greatest athlete on planet Earth right now?
Man, I can't. I'm having a hard time saying or thinking something else just because of his unique ability to be so good on both sides of the equation, whether it be on the bump. He had a great outing yesterday for the Dodgers. Was in a bit of a slump in terms of power numbers, I think. Had that tripped up against the Giants on Wednesday. I think it was 11 games in which he hadn't had a home run before going oppo to left center field. I guess credit to Ice Cube, if you were seeing things on social media. Ice Cube actually threw out the first pitch of the game, was up in the booth, and then he hits the home run with Ice Cube up there. So I guess that means Ice Cube's going to have another good day in the booth potentially to keep him hot. You never know. But man, I mean, just his ability to throw 100 miles an hour and be the best hitter in baseball when he's on that's just absurd.
I mean, I was looking at his numbers. Right now, he's made 7 starts. His ERA is 0.42, the lowest in the bigs. He's striking out almost 11 guys per 9 innings. And they're also using kid gloves with him and not leaving him out there very long because they want to be able to preserve him. But when he is at his peak pitching, he's pretty spectacular. And then you're right. If he can combine both, what do you think the sustainability of that is, though? Like, how many years can we see him be a true sort of like two-way player?
Well, I would imagine that a lot of it will be impacted more on the hitting side of things, that on when you would see him potentially DH less when he's on the mound, just trying to keep the weight off of him. And part of it could also be you could see some more inning limits put on him, and you've seen a lot of that already, where he hasn't been asked to go longer than 5 or 6 innings, and that's been kind of a thing in baseball the last few years. Early on in the season, they keep these guys pretty limited on how long they're going to go, so it'll be interesting to see how they weigh that and just see how he performs at the plate and or on the mound, and it'll be interesting also to see what will be more important to preserving, if that makes sense.
No doubt. Exactly. I think he is going to have, he and whoever he plays for, Dodgers or anybody else, which I can't imagine they're going to ever let him walk, especially because I read that they gave him a $700 million contract, and I read that they've already made all that money back just from having him on their team, which is pretty crazy to think about. That's how many eyeballs you got in Japan and all over Asia that are buying Shohei Ohtani jerseys and tuning in to watch him. So pretty crazy, the earning power. But I do think somebody's going to have to make it, either he or the team or both. They are going to have to make a decision, go one way or the other eventually. Because, I just don't know how long you can do that sustainably, but it's still pretty spectacular to watch.
Or it could be another thing also, if you think about it from a pitching standpoint. He's seen more of a starting pitcher now. Maybe they lean more into a long middle inning relief role or even a bullpen role as he gets older. We'll just have to wait and see.
Certainly. Jeff Safford chiming in here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. I got some other ones for you, but this is good because that means we can roll them over into next week and do a little diamond time with you. I know you'll be on the road, but maybe we can get you on the phone or something like that, or maybe we'll save it for when you get back. But either way, some evergreen topics. But I want to talk about the here and now. Here we are. At the Paddlehead Stadium, and again, a lot of hype around Missoula's minor league baseball team. They've hung pennants basically every half of every season, almost on repeat for the last handful of years. And I know that they're really high on this team as well. So certainly some new faces, some young guys. I know you've been out here checking them out, watching them work. So what have you thought so far? What are your early impressions of the Missoula Paddleheads?
Well, the one thing I would say, I alluded to it a bit earlier about how in years past this team has been able to have great success with home run hitters, with Pioneer League MVPs like Jason Newman, Adam Fogel, and Roberto Pena last season, who broke the Pioneer League PBL home run single season record. All three of those guys not around this season, and a lot of new faces this year with this Paddlehead team, with only 10 returners, 5 position players, and 5 pitchers coming back from last year's roster. And what I've seen this season compared to last, yes, there are some players I'm excited to watch. A kid named Matt Stone. He's a big, tall first baseman. He's a Cornhusker, University of Nebraska. Hit a home run today. How about this, Coulter? 460 feet.
Holy cow.
That's a big boy home run. Yeah. But a lot of how this team has been successful to this point this year has been a lot more small ball stuff. I'm seeing a lot more guys come in with speed and base stealing ability, defense. So I think what Michael Schlacken, we'll hear from him in a few minutes, I think what he's trying to build this season is a team that's going to be able to put pressure on you 1 through 9 in a multitude of different ways and not lean so much on the long ball. So if you like small ball, if you like good defense, I think you're going to like this team.
This seems like that's making a comeback just sort of across the board in baseball, right? I know there's always going to be a high priority on home runs, and a lot of the analytics are just sort of always going to point towards the 3-run shot is the best way to manufacture offense. So, value your bats, get on base. But there seems like there's some more teams right now, though, Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, all over the place, that are prioritizing athleticism and running the bases and, putting pressure on people with speed and things like that. Have you seen that? And do you think this is sort of a reflection of that trend?
Definitely. And if you ask Michael Schlack, that's something that he's said to me numerous times about home runs, is that sometimes, a home run, you can't view it as a bad thing, but sometimes a home run can be a quote-unquote, as he said, a rally killer, where you'd rather almost be going 1 through 9, just making loud contact, singles, doubles, whatever, where you get a home run, and then all of a sudden there's no pressure on the bases, and there's a couple of quick outs that can come from it. So, yeah, I agree.
Jeff Safford chiming in here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. In the name of being on time for our esteemed guest, we'll take a break. This is actually us really being on time. Usually I just let it ride for about 5 more minutes just to make Tommy and Hayden mad at me for blowing through the clock. But we'll take a break right now, come back, And 5:30, Michael Schlack, as promised, the manager for the Missoula Paddleheads. He'll sit shotgun with Jeff Safford. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's 129 ESPN Radio.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check at Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires.
If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
The rare moments in life, they're not just few and far between. They're meant to be treasured.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Sports fundraiser, visit verticalrace.com.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
A Big Sky High legend is returning as the Eagles boys basketball coach. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Casey McGowan will lead his alma mater as the Missoula Big Sky boys basketball head coach. Big Sky athletic director Jack Young told the Missoulian on Wednesday. McGowan was hired after he spent this past season as a volunteer assistant coach. He takes over for Zach Murphy, who resigned as the Big Sky High head coach in March to spend more time with his family. Murphy has closed his 4-year tenure by taking the Eagles to a third-place finish at the state AA tournament. McGowan was one of the greatest athletes to ever compete at Big Sky. He was a high school All-American in basketball and track for the Eagles. He was also an All-State football player. When he graduated from Big Sky in 1984, he was the school record holder in the high jump and the javelin, while also scoring 1,943 points in hoops. That helped the Alberton native earn a spot on the Montana Grizz in both basketball and track. After 2 years, he decided to concentrate on hoops, where he was a multi-year starter and was voted the team's most inspirational player in 1988 and 1989. Over the past decade, McGowan coached basketball teams in the Nike and Under Armour circuits, taking them to national Final Four appearances. McGowan inherits a Big Sky team that includes his son Jack, a standout 6'3" freshman, and Grizzlies football commit Eli Kasberg. McGowan's older son Max is a 6'8" sophomore.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Well, back in the friendly confines of Allegiance Field at Ogren Park, it's good to be back, man. It's hard to believe that me and the man sitting next to me, to my right, have been doing this here for 5 years now, this going into year 6. Welcome back, Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana, the ESPN MT app. You'll be hearing, seeing a lot of paddlehead baseball throughout the summer. 96 games. The roll gets going next week. We'll have the coverage for you. The Missoula Paddleheads heading on the road to Cali for the first time. The reigning, defending, undisputed PBL champions waiting, the Oakland Ballers. Won it last year under third-year manager Aaron Miles. Paddleheads will be starting a 12-game road trip next week. We'll have it for you every game, all 96 on ESPN Radio with you. Also streaming live on the Hometown Network this season. 6:30 start time Pacific, so 7:30 for folks wanting to tune in next week. Tuesday through Thursday in California, all next week actually, before heading to Ogden the following week for a 6-game series. So 12 games on the road to start things off. And to talk about it and this Paddlehead team, the now 6th-year manager with the Paddleheads, Michael Schlack. Thanks for coming on with us. And, man, is it hard to believe that it's year 6?
It is. It's hard to believe. We're getting old, Jeff, and it's been a blessing, that's for sure. Every year we get to show back up and do this, and it's a blessing to play baseball, coach baseball, and just be around this beautiful community.
Now maybe take us back to 2021 when this iteration of the Pioneer League was just getting going and how it came about for you coming to Missoula. I know you were in the Pioneer League previously working with the Rocky Mountain Vibes, but COVID kind of tripped everything up. How'd you end up here in Missoula initially?
Yeah, I was with the Brewers, and then when COVID happened, they started contracting the minor league levels, and lost my job at the end, after all of that. Ended up, not really knowing what was next. I mean, I don't think anyone knew in any form of the world at that point what was going to happen as we rolled into 2021, and I was actually working at Chick-fil-A at that time down in Georgia when a buddy of mine who was a pitching coach here, Jeff Bajaneru, reached out and said he knew some people here, and that started the conversation. So once I got going with the interview process and realized what kind of special people worked here, it was a no-brainer for me, and I'm just blessed that they chose me to be the manager. And from there, it was putting the team together, putting the ops together, figuring out what needed to go where and how, and all of those things. When you move from affiliated over to independent, you go from having things done for you to needing to do them yourself. And so it was an interesting process to walk through, but couldn't have done it with better people.
And then now, obviously, the years that have followed, me and Colter Nuanez touched on it earlier, how it's been like a routine for this franchise to make it to the postseason. They've been first half pennant winner, or last year finishing second, but still claiming that playoff berth in the first half of the season. How crazy has it been to be able to be part of all that success these last few years?
There's no real words for what we've been able to do. And it starts at the top with the Davis family, Bob Kakauchi, Matt Ellis, Kim, the front office, everyone. I mean, and I know people can say that's cliche, but it really is a family organization, and that we all feel like we're family. We all work together for one common goal. Obviously, on the baseball side, winning is everything. However, we also want to create good people. We want to help them. We want to make sure that we're player first, and we want to make sure that we're doing things the right way. And I think that winning becomes a byproduct of those good cultural things that you do here, and it's just really exciting when you think back. I mean, in the moment and as the years go, you don't really know that's been happening. But as you look back and you start to reflect on like a chunk of years, as I call it, it's been really special.
Paddleheads manager Michael Schlack with us here on ESPN Missoula as the Missoula Paddleheads get themselves ready for the PBL season that is coming down the pipe here. 96 games starts next week with the trip to the Bay Area taking on the Oakland Ballers. And thinking about it from a Treasure State perspective, you also have, of course, the Great Falls Voyagers, the Billings Mustangs, the Glacier Range Riders also in this league. They've had some competitive teams over the last few seasons, playoff battles with Billings and Glacier specifically in this 5-year run. Has it been cool to be able to promote the game of baseball within the Treasure State, a rural state?
Yeah, I think first and foremost what separates Montana is that it's a place that a lot of people want to just come. They don't know they don't necessarily attribute it to baseball, but that when you hear Montana, they say, oh, man, I'm jealous. I'd like to go there. I'd like to see it. We explain the way that Missoula is and the whole state, and that you could drive for hours and not see anything, and people just think it's really neat. And so on top of that, to say, yeah, but the professional baseball that's there, the Pioneer League, the way that Montana has been able to get the teams they've been able to get and the facilities that we have, I think it really would surprise people. And, I mean, the most impressive thing is just the number of players that have been able to go on and continue or, for the first time, have major league organization chances that have come from teams from Montana and us. And it's just been really fun to watch that process play out and represent the state.
Now, in terms of what this team has coming this season, we'll get to a few of the little differences you may see with the Paddleheads this year as well. Thinking about how your team has played in years past will look maybe a little bit different this year. From a Montana perspective, you have Parker McMahon here in camp, a guy from Bozeman, Montana, Bozeman High School. Have never had a product of the Treasure State play or have a chance to play for the Paddles. Is it cool to have someone like him here?
Yeah, it's neat. And you know, when we saw that he was available and it was somebody that we were looking at, I mean, first and foremost, you want to find players that can play the game. Now, if he is also from Montana like he is, that's cool, and I think that it's an awesome opportunity for us to bring in someone that the fans can especially follow, knowing that he's a Montana guy. But, you know, he's got a good sense of humor about it, being from Bozeman. I think, like, one of the first intros he did, he introduced himself and said, sorry, Grizz fans, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
But, you know, he's a great guy, and it's cool to have a local. He was saying down there, you know, he knows the weather. It's sunny right now. Earlier it was raining. Sometimes it feels like summer. Sometimes it's like winter, and guys have been leaning on him for what to wear outside because no one really knows.
Now, specifically speaking of McMahon, he got a brief stint in pro ball last year in the American Association, but will look to put a full pro season together. And that is really a story with this Paddlehead roster in general. A lot of rookies trying to set their mark on this roster. Also, a lot of newcomers. Of the 37 players you brought into camp, that a high number. I think it's the high number I've seen for the number of players you brought in. But of those guys, only 10 returners from last year. So a lot of new guys for Paddlehead fans to learn about.
Yeah, the way these teams work sometimes is that there's an ebb and a flow, and there's years where you need to keep a lot of returners, and there's years where you got to turn it over. And then there's years where people go on, and some of them become parents, and some of them get, you know, real jobs. And I think last year what we saw was a mix of all of those things. We had people move on to real life, as we call it. We have people that moved on to other teams, some international, some Major League Baseball. And when that happens, that's one of the years where we have this turnover that we have. But at the same time, it's an exciting new leaf, so to speak. It's an exciting opportunity to rebuild the culture, rebuild the footprint of the organization, and give the fans something new to look at.
Speaking of new things to look at, a calling card for Paddlehead baseball the last 4 or 5 seasons has been the home run ball. I mean, we've seen Zach Allman the first season, he set a PBL home run record. Jason Newman did the same. Adam Fogel, the same thing. And, of course, Roberto Pena last season. Now, of course, I would expect to see some power in this lineup. Players like Nick Klempt, I talked about rookie Tyler Stone with Colter Nuanez earlier. He had a bomb earlier in the exhibition contest. But this team, it seems like, with some of the new players you brought in, will really be looking at speed, small ball, and that sort of things. Defense a little bit further. So can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, back in September, after the last out of the season was made, you know, when Peter, Matt, and I were discussing where we go from here, it was really pitching and defense were the bulk of our conversation. This is something that we wanted to address. And it's, as long as baseball's been played, if you can pitch it and if you can catch it, good things are going to happen. You got to score runs, but if you can pitch it and catch it, you're off to a good start. Now, like what you said, Tyler Stone has 3 home runs or maybe 4 in camp. I mean, he's, you know, the ones today, 460 feet, 445 feet.
Whoa.
Dead center. The other day hit one dead center, 452. And he's wearing number 55 of all things. So that's been, yeah, of course. So that's been really neat to watch because he's a great kid. He can really play first. So we're looking for a big pop out of him. But what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of walks. We're seeing a lot of stolen bases. We're seeing a lot of takes. We're seeing a lot of just really good strike zone judgment. And so, what that translates to is just some really annoyed pitchers. And I really like that. I mean, having been an annoyed pitcher in my past,
right?
I know what that feels like. And I would much rather have a lineup of guys that can hit the ball out of the park than I would those pesky, annoying guys that are getting on base and stealing. And that's what we have this year. And it's going to be fun to watch everyone get annoyed, I hope.
I like, too, a number of players that you brought in that have the ability to switch hit. A lot of thinking returner, Colby Wilkerson, back for another season. But a guy I've really liked, another infielder, Will Bermudez, a guy that came from Southern California and UC Irvine. What does a switch hitter bring to a lineup that can be so versatile?
Yeah, you never know. The other manager is going to know what he's going to do, but it's hard to game plan when you know that either someone in the lineup or somebody on the bench or both is a switch hitter. And so, you're thinking of who you're going to bring down from the bullpen. And it just makes it twice as hard to figure out, because now you're having to look at splits, you're having to look at what's he do against this guy, what's he do against that guy. It changes. You don't have as much confidence in bringing a pitcher in. And it balances the lineup differently. It lets you get some flexibility in there and how you piece it together when there's some switch hitters.
Missoula Paddlehead skipper Michael Schlack with us here on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Getting you ready for Paddlehead baseball, getting you ready for minor league baseball throughout the course of the Treasure State. You're joining us here on SWX Montana Statewide TV. Maybe you're a Riders fan or a Great Falls Voyager fan, Billing Mustang. They're getting their seasons coming down the pipe as well. You alluded to pitching. What do you look for most from a pitching prospect? That might be kind of a loaded question, a broad question, but, how do you not get fixated on the radar gun so much and look for guys that just know how to pitch?
I have somebody that I've known for a really long time, Dave Jouse, and one of his sayings in baseball over his many decades has been, nobody cares how hard you throw a ball for. And that's something that for me, I've taken in the managerial role where it is so true. You're sitting down there in the dugout. I really don't care if you throw the ball 98, if you're walking everybody. At the end of the day, our pitching staff, starters, relievers, everyone, I want them not to think as much of what role they're in, and I want them to think more of being out-getters in whatever situation they're in. And however you do that is fine. There's no politics here. There's no issues with anything. If you got to throw the ball between your legs to get outs, do it. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the outs. So, there's no time in a shorter schedule. There's no time with the talent that's in this league to sit here and say, well, I need to build this around everybody that throws 99. Because at the end of the day, if you can't throw it over the plate, you're probably not going to last very long. Because 99 down the middle is still going to get hit, and walking guys is still going to create runs. So we would rather look at pitchability, first pitch strikes, hits to innings, like looking at how many walks he has, how many strikeouts does he have, and things like that.
A lot of new pitchers to learn about. A few that have stood out for me. We talked about him yesterday. Ronaldo Gutierrez, a former Ogden Raptor, also a Atlanta Braves product previously, a funky lefty from the Dominican Republic. Yeah. He's looked strong this season. Also mentioned Parker McMahon's been solid, but a player that folks in the Garden City, I would imagine, will be familiar with is your team MVP and franchise player in Mark Timmons, back again after a really tough circumstance. Actually tore his Achilles in a game last year in Billings, but he's back. He's been throwing well in spring camp. How does a story like that really help this team and just kind of jump off the page from a human standpoint?
Yeah, if you think of Mark in terms of not only a baseball player or a franchise player for us or a reliever for us, you think of him in terms of just the story. He came to us out of a small school. He was undrafted, unscouted almost, and came to Missoula, ended up getting signed by the Angels, came back when his stint was done there, ended up, putting together some good years, then got injured. And like you said, first outing of the year last year, tore his Achilles, ruptured it right on the mound. One of the saddest things I've seen just because that's so hard. And he's back, and he's great in the community, he's great in the clubhouse, he's great on the field, and that's what you need for a franchise-type player. All the guys respect him. And couldn't be happier to have him be a part of this.
Paddleheads manager Michael Schlack with us on ESPN Missoula. Get him a few more questions. The Paddleheads are hosting a season ticket holder and host family dinner here tonight. Sounds like they got some barbecue brisket lined up for you, so want to make sure you can get a plate, Schlack. We maybe ask a question or two about food right here at the end because,
we always do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a tradition, us too.
Yes.
But we got a big, long road trip coming up. Alluded to the Oakland Ballers, the first team on the docket, the defending league champs, but also two solid teams from years past also coming up, thinking about the Ogden Raptors, the 2023 PBL champs, and Yuba Sutter, 2024 champions. So how will it be a good way to start the year, not just with a 12-game road trip, but also great competition?
I don't know how you'd want it any other way. I mean, if you're thinking about the way to start a season, team building perspective-wise, you're on the bus, you're in these hotels for that length of time, you're going to build a strong bond with these guys. You're going to figure out who fits, who gels, and it's going to be a good team-building thing. And then who we're facing, I mean, if every manager hopes that they can, figure out early what their team is actually about. And when you have defending champion after defending champion after defending champion, teams that have gotten guys signed, teams that are perennially very good, like Ogden, like Yuba, like Oakland, it's going to be really fun to see where we stack up. It's going to be fun to see those managers. All three are friends of mine, and it's just going to be really good competition.
Well, I teased it up. I can't just let it slide now. You and I both are big-time food guys.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, big.
Do you have a highlight food experience here in the Garden City?
Oh, my goodness. Well,
or is that too tough?
No, it's not tough. I mean, here's the thing. Like, sometimes you look local. Like, for Wally and Buck, burgers are always good.
Oh, yeah.
You can't go wrong there, right? My kids love the combination on, like, a Sunday day or an off day, like the Noodles and Company, Cafe Rio type combo. The Doc sandwiches downtown are always good. I mean, I would say that's our go-to kind of rotation there.
All right.
And yeah, I love the local stuff. I love the chain. I mean, I love food, you know that. But those, if I could start anywhere, it's those that I just named.
Well, there you have it. Michael Schlack, Paddleheads manager and culinary expert here on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. We roll on this edition of Nuanez Now. After this, don't go anywhere. Colter Nuanez will be back to take you home on this Thursday on Western Montana's sports leader, ESPN Radio.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair, restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair, restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky Country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. UM launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Why would any business let you use their product and give you 365 days of reassurance? Mattress Firm does because they believe in their mattresses. Save on top brands like Nectar, Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and others. Mattress Firm carries $149 mattresses all the way up to the luxury Purple Rejuvenate Premier. 0% in payments as low as $39 a month, along with 365 days of reassurance. See why Mattress Firm is Montana's best place to find the sleep you deserve.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
WMT.org.
Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Just fun kicking it outside, breathing in the fresh air, listening to some Fleetwood Mac while you're also listening to a baseball interview. It's been a great afternoon. Appreciate the Paddleheads for setting us up down here. It's a fun evening for them. Chance to appreciate some of their most loyal fans, some of their host families, the people that really help make this thing go around and take in the players and make the players feel at home in Missoula. So we appreciate the Paddleheads for having us down here at Ogren Park at Allegiance Field here in the heart of the Garden City. That's one of the most interesting elements to me, always has been, about first the Missoula Osprey and now the Missoula Paddleheads, is that you're importing so many different guys from all over, not just the country, but all over the world, which is just a really interesting cultural experience to see guys making their way and performing at a high level on the baseball diamond that are from everywhere from Texas to the Dominican Republic. It's pretty cool. It's also cool to see them mesh too. Like I remember when I was working in the Missoulian one summer, the sports editor at the time, Bob Mesereau, he assigned me a story to write a feature about how many different languages were being spoken in the clubhouse for the Paddleheads. Because at that moment, I think they certainly had a whole bunch of Spanish speakers, but also I think they had a Korean player and a Japanese player. So I think you combine the English, I think it was like 4 or 5 different languages that were being spoken in the clubhouse, which is cool. Like guys learning how to communicate with each other from different places and different backgrounds and different worlds really is always a fun part of sports. And we've seen that in Missoula and around Montana because of Pioneer League Baseball. So that's certainly one of the interesting draws to me is just sort of seeing the collision of cultures that happen. So this should be a fun one down here tonight. Certainly will be fun with Paddleheads baseball right around the corner. I misquoted. I got to correct myself. I said 94 games. It's not. It's 96 games. So Jeff Safford corrected you there. Jeff joined us for the second hour here on Nuanez Now, talking all things Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, and we heard from Michael Schlack, the manager of the Missoula Paddleheads, to sort of help preview the upcoming season. So that was all certainly fun and informative. Hour number one, we talked everything from high school basketball to PGA Championship golf to Canadian League football with Keelan White and Grizz football with Eli Gilman. All of that, today's show, is on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. Please rate, review, subscribe, and appreciate you for tuning in to Nuanez Now, no matter how you're tuning in. The PGA Championship, I'm trying to get the scoreboard up here, see if everybody's in. Looks like just a couple left out on the course. Matty Schmidt is the only player under par that's still out on the course. A couple others that are over par still out on the course. But pretty much everybody's in. And the leader in the clubhouse, well, there's 7 of them. There is 7 different players that are in at 67. Scotty Scheffler is one of them, so he's certainly the favorite to win this tournament. He's the defending champion in the PGA Championship, and he had a nice opening round. So par 70, by the way, so 67 gets you to 3 under. He is tied with Alex Smalley, Martin Keimer, Ryo Hisatsun, Minwoo Lee, Stefan Yeager, and Aldrich Pottinger. So it should be. That's a lot of guys that are off to a good start, and a couple other guys lurking there at -2, including Xander Schauffele, Corey Connors, Patrick Reed, Shane Lowry got in at 68 as well, and another good group at -1, including Joaquin Neiman, Jason Day, Cam Smith, Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, John Rahm, Nick Taylor, who is a Canadian, but he has cousins in Montana. I know his cousins that live in Bozeman, so that's pretty cool. A little Montana connection there. Justin Thomas also in at 1 under as well. And then the group that sits at even includes Ricky Fowler, Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harmon, J.J. Spahn, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Justin Rose. So we'll give you some more updates on the PGA Championship tomorrow and into next week, but it should be fun to watch it all sort of come down to the wire there right outside of Philadelphia in Newtown, Pennsylvania. Fun show. Appreciate the guys in the back for getting the whole thing all set up, not just the radio side of things, but also the television side, and also thanks to the paddleheads for setting us up and hosting us down here as well, and thanks to everybody that tuned in to listen. Tomorrow we'll be back at it. We'll have some hockey. Jeff Safford and Hayden Smith giving you the latest on the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll also have Carolyn, the chick who doesn't know sports. And we'll have our latest senior spotlight with Wesley Arrett. He is a senior at Belgrade High School. We'll see you at 4 p.m. Nuanez